There are moments when you look at your partner and think, who are you? What happened to us? Not because there's been a huge fight or some obvious betrayal, but because you feel a distance that wasn't there before. A kind of invisible wall that slowly built itself up. He talks to you, and it's hard to really hear him. You try to explain yourself, and he just doesn't seem to get it. And the worst part, you're not even sure you want him to get it anymore, because you're exhausted. Tired of pretending everything's fine, tired of forcing a connection that no longer flows, tired of trying to be who you used to be, when that version of you just isn't there anymore. And then comes that uncomfortable question, is it that he doesn't love me anymore? Or is it that I don't love him? Or am I changing and I simply don't know how to explain it? Menopause doesn't show up with a flashing sign saying, new stage begins here. It arrives quietly, confusingly, and sometimes cruelly. And it doesn't just change your body, it changes the way you are in the world, the way you live your days, the way you connect. And yes, it changes how you relate to the person sleeping next to you. You start to notice things that never bothered you before. The way he chews irritates you. It drives you mad that he can't see how tired you are. It crushes you that he doesn't ask how you're feeling, especially when you don't even know how to put it into words. And that's when many women start to feel alone. Like the only language they speak is one no one else understands. But the hardest part isn't that he doesn't understand. The hardest part is that we often don't understand ourselves either. Some days you feel like a stranger in your own body, like you've lost the map, like you're searching for an exit door but don't even know where it begins. You want someone to hug you but don't touch me. You want company, but leave me alone. You want to scream and stay silent at the same time. How do you explain that without sounding dramatic, difficult, or just too much? And on top of it all, there's a quiet little trap that sneaks in. Guilt. Guilt for not wanting the same things. Guilt for not feeling up to it. Guilt for not responding the way you used to. As if our desire had to be linear, predictable, always available. And no, it doesn't work like that. It never did. It's just that now, with the hormonal changes, everything gets louder. What was off before becomes unbearable. What was hidden comes to light. And what we've been needing for years now feels urgent. So no, it's not always just menopause. It's not only about hormones. Sometimes it's that we're waking up, that we're finally seeing ourselves clearly without the filters we were raised with, without the pressure to always be the one who holds it all together, the one who understands, the one who gives in. Because for years we were trained to keep the peace even if it cost us ourselves. And now, for the first time, the body and soul are joining forces to say enough. Enough silence, enough holding on, enough not showing up for ourselves. And yes, that's uncomfortable. Because when a woman starts to listen to herself, to really see herself, to say what she actually feels, the whole system shakes. The relationship shakes, the routine wobbles, the unspoken agreements fall apart. And sometimes, he just doesn't know what to do with that. Not because he doesn't love you, but because no one ever taught him how to walk alongside a woman going through this. Because he's scared too, that you're changing, that you're no longer who you were, that maybe you don't need him anymore. And then comes another big question. What happens to a relationship when one person starts to transform completely? There are no easy answers, but one thing is clear. You can't go through menopause without looking at your relationships, because it's not just your libido that changes, it's how you need to be touched, heard, seen. And if that conversation doesn't happen, the distance grows, the silence becomes unbearable, and we end up feeling lonelier with someone than we do completely alone. But here's the thing, not all of it is loss. There's also possibility. There's a door that opens when we stop trying to fit in, when we dare to say what we really need, even if it's not pretty, even if it's not what the other person expects. Because menopause can also be a rebirth, a chance to rebuild love from a different place, a place that's more honest, more human, more real. But to get there, we first have to take the mask off. And yes, that's scary, it's terrifying. But it's also a breath of fresh air, and sometimes that's exactly what we need most. Before we continue, something important. In the description of this video, I've left a resource that could really help you through this stage. It's something several women are starting to use and are seeing real changes. If you're curious, have a look later. It might be just what you need. What's curious is that many women don't even know how to start that conversation. How do you say that you no longer feel comfortable in your own skin without it sounding like a criticism of him? How do you explain that there are nights when you just can't, without him taking it as a personal rejection? It's hard. But what's even harder is keeping up the act. Because pretending is exhausting. It wears you down. It quietly breaks you. And what isn't spoken slowly rots from the inside. Some couples survive. And yes, of course, there are men who truly show up, who care, who ask. But the truth is, many don't know how, and they end up drifting away, or shutting down, or simply pretending nothing's happening, because no one taught them how to handle a woman who no longer wants to comply but to feel, a woman who stopped revolving around someone else's desire and started asking herself, what do I want? That question is powerful, but also dangerous because it can change everything. It can show you that love still exists, but the shared path no longer does. Or it can lead you both to rediscover a new way of being together, slower, more mindful, more real. There's something hardly ever spoken about, the grief for the sexuality that once was. Not because we're no longer capable of pleasure, but because the way we feel it shifts. Desire doesn't appear at the snap of a finger anymore. Sometimes it needs to be invited, gently, with words, with looks, with a connection that begins long before skin is touched. And if your partner doesn't understand that, if he keeps expecting the fast, automatic version of you, then the disconnect becomes inevitable. But we also have our part to play, because many times we expect the other person to guess what we need, to just know without us having to say a word. And that's not fair, because if we're discovering a new language, we have to be brave enough to teach it, to put into words what we're feeling, to say, I don't like this anymore, but I do like that. I no longer want this, but I do want that. And yes, it's scary, because it means admitting we've changed, that we're no longer who we once were, that maybe we never truly were, we just couldn't hide it any longer. And listen, sometimes the conflict with your partner isn't the real problem. It's actually a signal, a quiet alarm saying, something inside you is waking up, don't shut it down, don't betray yourself. Because yes, some relationships evolve and are reborn, but others need to end so that we can keep growing. And that, even if it hurts, is also valid. Not all stories are meant to last forever. Some come to teach us something, and when that lesson is complete, we have to let go, lovingly but firmly. And if you're still in that stage of confusion, where you don't know if it's hormonal, emotional, or everything at once, don't force yourself to have it all figured out. It's okay not to know. It's okay to feel strange. You're in the middle of a deep transition. Your body is rearranging everything. Your mind is asking new questions. Your soul is asking for space. Don't rush to answer. Just listen to yourself. Give yourself time and speak, even if you don't have the perfect words. Because what matters isn't saying everything right. What matters is starting to say it, opening the dialogue, breaking the silence. Maybe your partner won't stay right away. Maybe he'll feel uncomfortable, but if the love is real, he'll try to understand. And if he doesn't, then you also have the right to ask yourself whether that's really where you want to stay. Because you deserve to feel heard. You deserve to feel seen. You deserve an intimacy where you don't have to choose between yourself and someone else, where you can be who you are now, not who you were. This is not the end of anything. It's the beginning of a stage where you can finally be honest with yourself. And that, even if it shakes the ground beneath you, even if it shifts your dynamics, even if it makes you cry more than once, is also freedom. And freedom, though uncomfortable, is always an act of self-love. So don't shrink, don't hide, don't settle, because this isn't just menopause, this is you waking up.